guys, my name is Lou and these are my books. Today we're doing an end of year reading wrap up, which I'm really super excited for because this is going to be the first year I'm ever doing it. And also I think this has been a pretty successful year for me because I've been doing really well with my channel, especially since this is the first year I've ever been really consistent with it. So I'm really so grateful for everybody who's been supporting me this far. And also this is going to be a really good thing for me to look back on my reading year and go through everything that I really enjoyed about this year, what I didn't enjoy, what was really just like meh in there. But anyways, let's get started. I found a little blog post. My dog just left, sorry. I found a little blog post that gives me all of the questions that I need. So we're only going to be doing half of it because I don't really do much posting on Instagram or anything like that. So let's just get started. Also, I have new glasses if you couldn't tell. So let's go through it. So first off, let's talk about my reading goal for this year. So if you follow me on Rereads, you already know this, but my reading goal for this year was 10 books and I exceeded that by 6. So I read 16 out of 10 books this year, which I'm really super excited for and proud of myself for. Even though the end of this year has been kind of really slumpy for me, I'm really happy that I exceeded my goal by a lot more than I was expecting, really. And the most read genre I had was obviously fiction slash fantasy slash historical slash magical realism. Like it was just a lot of fiction. I don't read nonfiction very often, and when I do, it has to be exceptional, like exceptional, you know? Lots of fiction, but mostly fantasy. Mostly fantasy slash magical realism. Okay, so for the first question, the longest and the shortest book you read this year. And, oh god, hold on, let me get them from the stack. Okay, so the longest book that I read this year was The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. Obviously, I adored this book. I loved the writing. I loved the style. I loved pretty much everything about this book. Its length was not a problem to me because every page I just felt very invested in, and it was just a great experience reading this book, and I am attempting to plow through The Liar's Knot, but it's just not working out. It's a mess. I'm just gonna say it's an absolute disaster, but you know what? It's whatever at this point. However, I know I am going to finish this trilogy. That's a definite. I'm going to say that. Not by the end of this year. However, I'm finishing this trilogy. And then the shortest book that I read this year was How the King of Elfheim Learned Hate Stories by Holly Black. So this was a little novella collection that follows, like not immediately after, but like a little bit, but like slightly after the events of The Queen of Nothing from the Cruel Prince series. And we follow, and this is a Cardan POV book, which I really enjoyed, and just I was so enthralled with, and I just really loved getting Cardan's POV on everything and how he feels about Jude and everything, without Jude mudding up everything, you know? Like, I enjoy Jude, but I didn't love her nearly as much as I loved Cardan. Cardan's my BB boy, okay? You can fight me. Next is your favorite book published in 2022. Now, I actually I don't know if I've read anything that was like published in 2022. However, there's an edition of a book that was published in 2022 that I'm going to use for this, and it counts because these are my rules. It's my channel. Screw off. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This specific edition was published in 2022. So October of 2022, if you see October 2022. So I'm not lying. But honestly, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue might just be my favorite book of all time at this point. Now that I've had a couple of months to like ruminate on it since I've read it and all of that. Honestly, next year, this is definitely going to be a reread for me, and I'm definitely going to be annotating it as well. I just wanted to let everything, you know, sink in a little bit. Until I was able to, like, you know, truly appreciate this book for what it does. And then once I reread it, that will pretty much solidify it as my favorite book of all time. But The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. That's what I'm using for this question. Favorite debut book published in 2022. I'm just going to say it. I don't read a lot of debut authors. At least it hasn't occurred to me this year, you know? Like, I was about to pick Rebecca Ross for this, but I haven't read any of her books, and I know that I think A River Enchanted was her debut book. So we're not gonna do that. Also, I've been meaning to get my hands on, like, A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless, the Illumicrate edition specifically, but I just haven't been able to get there. Anyways, moving on. Favorite book not published this year. So for this one, I went with The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So I don't remember when this was published. I honestly didn't even look. However, this book hit so hard, like unnecessarily hard for me. Like, I really don't understand why this book had to hit the way it did, because it literally just wrecked my whole soul from the beginning to the end. And sure, there were some parts that were kind of slow, but I think that added to the magic of this book, and I think I would truly appreciate it if I were to reread it again. And also, you know for a damn fact that I'm getting the Fairy Loot editions of The Night Circus and The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern that they're doing. Because look at them. Look at how beautiful. Anyways, I've been looking for a good edition of The Starless Sea, and I just haven't been able to find one. And now that Fairy Loot's coming out with them, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'm probably gonna annotate this edition, keep this edition, and then, you know, get that. Or, you know, I might just like not annotate this at all and just get rid of this edition once I have the Fairy Loot ones. We'll see. We'll have to see. Because I'm not really sure if I want to annotate this book or not. I feel like, in my opinion, annotating this book would be kind of pointless. But, you know, we'd have to see. Book that lived up to the hype. So for this book, wow, okay, it's at the bottom of the stack. For this question, anyways, I went with The Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. The whole duology just hit so hard and so well for me. Like, I actually started this book like several years before I actually like decided to push through it, and I couldn't get through the first chapter because I just didn't know who Juiced was, and I didn't know why he mattered. And then it was like revealed later on in like the beginning half of the book why he kind of mattered. He didn't really, but you know, it was kind of cool to see that coming back. But yeah, Six of Crows absolutely lives up to the hype, and I know why. No, it was Shadow and Bone that was turned into a TV show. But still, I wish Six of Crows got a TV show, or like at least a movie. But you know, I don't think it would be doing very well. I don't want this book, the amazingness that is this series, to be tainted by whatever a movie production is going to do to it. You know what I mean? Okay. Anyways, yeah. Book that did not live up to the hype. I say nothing further. Book that felt like the biggest accomplishment. So I will say, let's say, this isn't really just a book, however, it is the series. The Cruel Prince series, by Holly Black, because I finished this whole thing. I finished all of the books, from The Cruel Prince to How the King of Valhalla and Hate Stories in 48 hours. If you haven't seen that video, I'll like put it in the tags over there. But like, I finished the series in 48 hours. And granted, these books are short as hell, but seriously, I finished these books in 48 hours, and I was really proud of myself for doing so, and actually grasping what was going on in here, and like, you know, pushing through it. So anyways, yeah, I'm really happy. I was really happy with myself when I finished this. Anyways, favorite characters. Oh goodness, this is going to be fun. So, for this one, well, we're going with, Crooked Kingdom, for this, even though this is part of the Six of Crows duology. But we're going with Crooked Kingdom because the character development in this book compared to what's happening in the first book is so amazingly, like, deep and beautiful for each one of these characters. Granted, I didn't like the Nina Matthias thing going on. However, this was a really good book. And I just loved getting more of our little cast of, like, Kaz and his troublemakers. And I just loved them. I loved them so much. I would literally die for all of them. I would die for Wylan. Literally. Wylan and Jesper. Wylan and Jesper. They're my OTP. I love them. They're so cute. I really did love them. They were so cute. But I think Kaz and then Jesper and Wylan were my favorite characters. I will just say that. Just saying that. Least favorite characters. Cerilda. I can't say I hated Cerilda. However, she just kind of got worse as the duology went on. Really, like, truly, I don't know why this was made into a duology, because it was fine. It would have been fine as one book. This was fine. But Cursed was a whole different kind of thing. Anyways, so I don't like Cerilda very much. Like, she's okay in this first book, but in Cursed, she gets significantly worse. I don't know if it's the pregnancy hormones or if it's just it might just be the pregnancy trope that just really just threw this book off the rails. Who knows? But I just didn't like Cerilda. I didn't like how she developed. I didn't like it at all. I really didn't. Anyways. Most shocking book moment. For this one, y'all are not going to be very surprised. What happens at the end of The Wicked King? A lot happens at the end of this book. And, like, honestly, arguably, it's a lot more surprising than what happens with the Queen of Nothing. And honestly, I think this ends better than the entire series does, which I think is surprising. But what happens at the end of The Wicked King? If you know, you know. But, like, this was a thing, my friends. This was a thing, my friends. Okay. Favorite couple / OTP. Again, we're going with Wylan and Jesper. But if we weren't going with Wylan and Jesper, it would be Jude and Cardan. Because they were so cute. And you know what? It had an actual enemies to lovers tension. Best written book you've read this year. We're going to go this time. We're going to go with, again, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I'll just pop the picture up on the screen because I don't want to go digging for it again. I'm going with The Night Circus because I really enjoyed both Addie LaRue and The Night Circus have very similar writing styles. They genuinely do. And their stories are actually, like, slightly a little bit similar, like the way they play out anyways. Like, the plots are definitely not similar at all, but the way they play out, the way the love is portrayed, all of that, it's pretty similar. However, The Night Circus, in my opinion, the way it does the slow burn, the way it does the forbidden love aspect, the way it does a lot of how it does, the way it introduces so much for the characters is just everything to me. it just, like, the writing, like, I understand why Erin Morgenstern is a household name. I understand why Erin Morgenstern is so well beloved by, and how people are such diehards for her work, because her writing is fucking beautiful. She has an amazing writing style, and not that V.E. Schwab doesn't, but her writing style just really transports you to a different place. And that's kind of obvious in the way she writes. She's definitely trying to set up the world. She's setting up everything that's meant to happen. And then when it does happen, you don't feel taken out of the story. You just feel as though you're moving along with it. And that's just everything I want in a writing style. Can you blame me? Can you blame me? This one we're gonna skip because I haven't pushed anybody to read anything. Really? Well, now that I'm thinking about it. I have pushed a couple of people to read Addie LaRue. I will say that. Like, I went on a date, and I told this guy that Addie LaRue was my favorite book of all time, and he picked it up because of me. So that was nice. If you're wondering if we're still in contact, yes, but kind of barely. Anyways, favorite book cover of the year. And I have a lot of options for this because I bought a lot of very pretty editions this year. But we're going to go with If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun. This is the Fairy Loot edition that came in the book box of September. I got this secondhand off of someone. I don't know if they already read it or not. I got this secondhand. And so, yeah. But can we acknowledge the beauty of this book? Like, it's just, like, my thing about this book, it's not that this book is, like, it's not busy. That's what I kind of like about it, because a lot of book covers tend to be kind of busy, and and they're just, like, they don't have the softness that this one does. And I really just enjoy that, because a lot of the book cover editions that I have are, like, very either monochrome or they're just, like, very, like, deep and dark and mysterious. But this one I just love the pastel colors. I really love the simplicity of the butterflies and everything. Maybe it's just because I'm a butterfly girly. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this. And also the naked hardback. Hold on, let me just grab this. The naked hardback is fucking gorgeous. I'm so excited to read this book. Honestly, like, looking at it makes me want to put this on my TBR. Really, it truly, genuinely does. And that's a problem, because my TBR is truly never ending at this point. It's a problem. Big fat fucking problem. What book made you cry the most? Addie LaRue. So the thing about Addie LaRue is that it portrays loneliness in a very interesting way. It portrays loneliness on two completely different ends of the spectrum, where someone who gets what they wished for but really doesn't want it in the end is lonely for so many years as a consequence of that wish. However, and then on the end of, which is Addie, but on the end of Henry is just longing for a connection, an emotional connection with somebody. And in his wish, he doesn't get that. It's not, like, he's not totally, like, how do I explain this? Henry's wish is to be loved and to have that emotional connection with somebody. But the way he gets it isn't very satisfying to him. It doesn't feel substantial. It doesn't feel real to him. And so both of them end up regretting their decisions, and it leaves them both lonelier than ever. Luke, in and of himself, he's lonely because he just doesn't have a companion. He's a fucking temperamental force of fucking nature. Like, and he gets formed because Addie drew him that one time. Like, the thing about this book is that it portrays loneliness on so many ends of that spectrum that you can't help but relate with it. You really can't help but feel that, oh, I felt that. I know that feeling. And it kind of makes you face things that you really wouldn't really think about typically. And that's what I really loved about that book, is that it really just like grabs at your heart and doesn't let go until the very last page. That book just was everything to me, to be honest with you. And that's why it's one of my favorites. What book made you laugh the most? Crooked Kingdom. Crooked Kingdom was so fun. It was like literally, Crooked Kingdom was Six of Crows, but like everybody was moving because everybody was like, yeah, y'all not gonna scam us this time. And Kaz was heading the operation like, I'm gonna murder you. Like that fucking Gojo meme. It's just like, I'm gonna murder you. And like Kaz essentially does. He scares the absolute shit out of who is his enemy? Who is his enemy? The leader of the Emerald Lions, that guy, I think. Anyways, him. I don't know. Fitzgerald. I don't know him. I forget his name, to be honest. He wasn't that memorable of a character because he didn't show up very much. However, Kaz just like, I'm going to destroy everything you've ever cared about attitude is just so much fun to me, and how everybody's just going along with it because like either they have no sense of self-preservation, they owe Kaz a debt, or they just have no other choice but to go along with it. AKA Matthias. Matthias doesn't really have any choice. And it's really, really funny to me. It's really fun. It's really funny. And I had a lot of laughing moments, especially when near the end, Kaz decides to make his big grand plan, and like he's making it at the top spire of the hotel, and he has a scheming face, and everybody's watching him from behind. It's just like, oh, he's scheming. It's just like, y'all wanna get out of here. Oh my god, I love this book, and I'm going to reread the series so often. I swear. My god. New favorite author you discovered this year. It would either be Erin Morgenstern or V.E. Schwab. I really loved them. I truly did love both of these authors, and I just love their writing styles, to be honest with you. And that's interesting for me because I'm very picky about writing styles. I'm very picky about writing in general because I'm a writer as well. So if your writing doesn't flow with your story that you're trying to tell, it just isn't gonna work, you know? At least in my opinion. So both of these authors, they have writing styles that very much jibe with me. I really do enjoy their writing styles. I really enjoy how they do these things, and I really enjoy just like I really just enjoy reading with them. I just never feel like I have to be sucked out of the story. I just feel very immersed in the world that they've built, you know? Guilty pleasure read of this year. I wouldn't say this was really a guilty pleasure. However, I felt a lot of guilty pleasure after finishing it. The Cruel Prince series. So again, I finished it in 48 hours. I felt very, very accomplished finishing this book. However, after finishing the series, I felt like I kept ruminating on it for like literal days at a time. I was sitting there. I was like, ooh, I forgot that this happened. Or, ooh, I remember this from this book. And you know what? I haven't felt that from a YA in a very long time. Actually, no, because Six of Crows is considered YA. I keep forgetting that it's considered YA. But literally, Holly Black and her writing is not as immersive as I would enjoy. However, she did craft a very good story, and her writing complemented it, which is something that I can respect. So yeah, I did enjoy this book, and I had a lot of pleasure reading it, I will say. I just had a lot of pleasure reading it. Let's see, favorite book you reread this year? Okay, hold on, I need to put this one from my stack. So I reread 2 books this year, The Color Purple and Snowflower and the Secret Fan. The reason I choose Snowflower and the Secret Fan for this is because I spent so much time with this text. I highlighted and marked up almost every page of this, and I had good reason to. This book was amazing. This book had pretty much everything that you really ever think of when it comes to female relationships and female relationships between like their husbands and with their friends and things like that. Female friendships, how hard it is to be a woman, without it being like some sort of feminist novel. it just shows the real life true struggles of being a woman and being friends with women. It really truly does, and I really enjoyed this book because of that. I had forgotten about it because this was a COVID read, and I had forgotten that this book hit so hard for me. However, this book really truly just made me more aware of like how I interact with my friends, mostly my female friends, and how I would and what I would look for in a husband, really. Because okay, so I date to marry. I'm not into like the whole hookup culture and whatever the fuck is going on with my generation. But this really does have a good look at traditional traditional like men versus women's roles, and very traditional, like not really misogynistic, but very cultural like roles that women and men play in cultural society. And like as much as we really want to like not admit it, women and men are good at very different things, and this paints that picture pretty perfectly without it being very like overly misogynistic, because this is just culture. This is just how things are. And it's not misogynistic in that way because it's just that's how things work the best, you know? It's the most efficient way of doing things. And I really enjoyed this. I really, really did enjoy my reread experience for this, especially since I annotated it. I was having so much fun with this annotation, honestly, especially since everything was pink. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I really, truly just did enjoy this book. I enjoyed this experience of rereading it. I enjoyed the experience of annotating it. Doggo, what are you barking at? That's just the vacuum. Anyways, I really enjoyed this book, and I would reread it again, honestly. This is probably going to be like a bi-yearly reread for me, you know? It's just one of those things. The last question for this is, were you happy with your reading year? And I have to say, overall, yes, I was very happy with how everything went for me this reading year. I was very happy with how everything just panned out for me. There were a few disappointments. Cursed and I Darken come to mind immediately. Also Fourth Wing. But you know, other than that, that was 3 books out of 16 that I read. And literally everything else I read was pretty much either immaculate or almost immaculate, or just good books. I had a lot of fun with this. I didn't have a set TBR. I didn't have a set kind of anything that I really wanted to read. Well, I kind of did. Because I wanted to read And I Darken. I wanted to have like 2 trilogies and 2 duologies on this to, you know, make it to 10 books. And I tried that, but when that didn't work, I just kind of went with it and mood read the entire year. I was really happy with it. And so I feel very satisfied with myself. I feel very satisfied with how I read this year, and I have more of a structure, more of an idea of how I want to read moving forward, especially since this is my first year really like out of the slump. You know what I mean? I feel very accomplished. I feel very like satisfied with myself and my reading. I really truly do. And I also feel very satisfied with myself with how my channel has been growing, and how I've been like making videos, and how I'm like improving, and you know, all of the other things. I just feel very satisfied with myself overall for how hard I've been working on this, and also that I've had the downtime to actually be reading. So yeah, honestly, out of 5 stars, I would probably give this reading year like what? 3.7? I think? Yeah, 3.7. Let's go with that. I wouldn't give it a full 4 stars, because, you know, I'm my own worst critic, but 3.7 feels like a fair score to me. So we're going to keep it that way. But anyways, guys, that brings this video to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like button. If you want to see more content from me, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified every time I post a new video. I post weekly on this channel, so don't miss out. Also, if you want to see more from me, leave me comments down below. What I should put on my TBR, what I should move up my TBR, videos you'd like to see from me, topics you want to see me get into, or just say hi or tell me what you're reading in the comments. Give me recs. I always get really excited when I see your comments. It makes me feel so happy and appreciated. Anyways, guys, I love men and Lumas. Bye!